and we are civilized people now. Um, it's good to see each and every one of you, though. Thanks for coming yet again. Um, Last week was good, in my opinion. I think we are actually pressing forward. I can see progress. And so tonight we are going to continue with the past papers. We're gonna go from familiar and unfamiliar, from familiar to unfamiliar. As
But
we
how would you gauge progress though?
um progress, I gauge progress by how much past papers we finish, and so that's how I typically think about it. The amount of past questions you see, and your ability to do it is how I gauge it. Um, that's how I that's how I think about it, and I
So
think
you don't think that we just writing down on the same page?
um
Like every new thing we do, we just covering up the things we did yesterday.
I don't understand what you mean.
Like if you only have one page to write on,
Uh-huh.
eventually you gotta start writing over the things you written on that page already. So it becomes cloudy the further you go.
I still don't understand your question. I still don't understand the idea.
Basically, I don't remember the things I would learn like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, you mean like that? Well, that part I can't help with. That part, that's like a personal thing. You have to review personally. Um, I can only
Yeah,
expose.
that's where it's coming from. Like, how
Yeah,
do you gauge progress?
yeah. I mean, when I say progress, I mean from my standpoint, like what am I required to do? Um, I only could expose you and share and help you with problems, and then if the onus is on you to review. It's very important. Review, because if you don't review, even if you knew it in class, hmm, even if you knew it in class, you could forget it. And so, very important to review, and very important that you go over the things that we share, and like we have discovered in this class that as we have discovered in this class that there's a lot of formulas that we have to remember, and so you have to memorize them and become familiar with them. And so,
They gotta remember because I get my advanced calculator to remember that for me.
okay, well, you'll see. You'll see. Um, yeah, so, yeah, if you're trying to do it the right way, you have
That's
to.
all.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with the familiar, and then we're gonna go to um, a more unfamiliar question. So this one should be familiar. I decided to start there because I'm like, this is a basic question, a good, easy thing to begin with before we get into the more rigorous stuff. So it says here Mr. Jones earns $10.50 per hour for a basic 40-hour week. Calculate his basic pay when he works for 40 hours. And I think this question is pretty straightforward. Anyone know?
$100 multiply.
Yeah,
Multiply.
multiply.
$120.
Good. So we have to multiply 1050 by 40 to figure out how much he's gonna get paid for that week. Okay, remember, he's gonna work for 40 hours. Okay, he's gonna work for whole 40 hours, and he's gonna get paid $10.
That's it? 40 hours?
Say that's it. I mean that's 8 hours per day for 5 days.
Yeah, try 10 for 6.
Yeah, I mean for the regular human now. Okay, so yeah, so he's gonna work 40 hours,
40.
whole 40 hours a week, and he's gonna get paid $10.50 for 1 hour. Okay, and so the question is, how much is he gonna get paid for 40 hours? So we're gonna say that our basic pay. Basic pay. Now his basic pay, when we talking about for a week now. Okay. It's basic
You mean per hour?
No, calculate his basic pay when he works for 40 hours. That's what we're gonna do. So it's
Oh,
gonna be $10.50. So his basic weekly pay is gonna be $10.50. What he gets per hour. Multiply that by, I really should have done this typing it at any rate. So it's gonna be $10.50.
I didn't read with that. I just do the multiplication and then myself.
I mean, you want to show this, and notice that I always show this. I always put it in words. For clarity, you don't just want to have the work in there. The same thing with one of my students did today. He had all the right answers, but he didn't, well, he wasn't explicit in showing me what it was. And so I wanted like this, organize your work like this. This is gonna be $420. Did we get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so.
Yeah. 1050 times 40 is 420. So for a week, 8 hours, he gets pays 420. 8 hours per day, 5 days a week. Sorry, for 5 days he gets paid $420. So this is basic weekly pay. Alright? Alright, so that's that. I think that one was pretty straightforward. All we had to do is multiply. Okay, the next one is, alright, can't leave Miss McDonald out. The next one is, if he works on Saturday, he is paid at a rate of time and a half. How much is he paid for 1 hour of overtime? Think about it. If he works on Saturday, he is paid at a rate of
1.5 times his his regular hour rate.
Yeah, definitely. So there's actually two ways we could do this. I'm gonna explain it the intuitive way, and then I'm gonna explain it the way Nancy said it. Both works. Both ways are correct. But when I remember my teacher explaining this stuff, I didn't really understand why she did 1.5. I just knew that, okay, if it's a time and a half, you use 1.5. But I'm gonna explain to you why, right? So remember it says that he's gonna work on Saturday. And Saturday is not his regular work week, right? He works Monday through Friday, and Saturday is overtime. So if he works on Saturday, he's paid at a rate of time and a half. Now, when they say time, they mean how much he gets regularly, right? So that's what they mean by time. But he's getting more than time. He's getting time and a half. So when they say time and a half, what they really mean, okay, what they really mean when they say time and a half is time and a half. So this means this means you add his regular hourly pay. So you're gonna take his regular hourly pay, right? That's why I'd say time. Okay, so this means that you add his regular hourly pay to half of his regular hourly pay. So to half, and I want to emphasize this, the half of his regular hourly pay. And that's what they mean by time and a half. So time and a half means you're going to take what he get in 1 hour regularly. So what do you get in 1 hour regularly would be 1050. Sorry, let me write this properly. So time and a half in this case. So time and a half. Well, this is going to be equal to how much he get paid in an hour regularly. What is that? What is that? How much he get paid?
1050.
1050. Very good. So 1050 is what he get paid in an hour regularly, and we're gonna add that to what? to what?
A half.
Half
1.5.
of his
Half
regular
of it.
hourly pay, right? So it's going to be plus what? 10.50.
You do 1.5.
No, half of his regular hourly pay. So it's going to be plus 10.50 divided by 2. And so it's going to be equal to 10.50 plus what is half of 10.50? What is half of 10.50? What is half of 10.50? If you were to take
525.
5.25, very good. Okay, 5.25. And I think this right here
5.25.
really explains, just before you answer, one moment, this really explains what time and a half means. Time is regular pay, right? Hourly pay, and a half, right? And half of it. That's what they literally mean. Time and a half. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. And so it's going to be equal to, what? 10.50 plus what? 5.25, which is what? What is that?
15.75.
15.75.
Definitely 15.75. Okay, 15.75. And so this is how much he get paid for 1 hour overtime. Let me allow these persons to come in. So for okay, that's so thus for 1 hour overtime, he gets paid what? How much?
15.75.
$15.75. Right. So that's his hourly pay. That's his overtime pay. So when they say time and a half, what they want you to do is they're saying, hey, take his regular pay, okay, and then add it to half of his regular pay. Okay, that's what they mean by time and a half. Now, what if they say time and a quarter?
2.25.
Then a quarter of the regular pay.
Then it's going to be a quarter of his regular pay. So instead of 10.50 divided by 2, it's going to be 10.50 divided by 4. And what if they say double time? What if they say double time?
2.
It's going to be 10.50 multiplied by 2. Okay. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to show you another way to do it, which is 10 times easier. But I like this way because it just helps you understand.
I like it.
Can you write this down, please?
Oh, sure, no problem. It helps you understand what it means, but it's not the quickest way to do it. And so I'm going to show you a quicker way to do it.
I like it because it's more clear.
More clever?
Look more convoluted to me.
Yeah, I mean, it is more work. And so, but it's just more intuitive. Like it just feels like you understand what's going on, but it's not the quickest way to do it. So the quickest way to do it, in my opinion, would just be when they say time and a half. Would just be to remember.
Can you go back on the bliss? I take a picture.
Finish? Or you can finish? Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, then.
We good?
Alright.
Okay. All right, so there we go. Yeah. So yeah, so let's do the more easier way. So easier way is just to remember this, right? So just to memorize this, and this what students generally do. You just memorize that time means regular hourly rate, hourly pay. Um, Double time just means 2 times your regular hourly pay. It's just multiply 2 by that, and then of course time and a half means 1.5 times your regular hourly pay. And so students just generally remember it like that, and then if you do that, then what will happen is that in order to get his overtime pay, if you were to think of it like this, you would say, sorry, you would just say, so his overtime pay is going to be equal to 1.5 because it's time and a half. So it'll be 1.5 times, okay, symbol, times, insert, 1.5 times what? 1050, because 1050 is his hourly pay. That's going to be equal to what? 1575. So whatever one rocks your boat.
I like that way.
Like that way still?
I think
Yeah, this one.
the times are more easier.
The times are more easier, in my opinion too. But just
This one easier, but I like that.
you just have to remember what to multiply by though. Okay, remember double time is 2 times the hourly pay. Time and a half. Time and a half is going to be 1.5 times your regular pay. And if we say, we can also say time and a quarter. I haven't seen this though, but I haven't seen this before in Bgcse or Bgcse. But if they do, they just means, anyone knows?
Quarter of your regular hours.
So yeah, so it'll be 1.5, 1.25 times your regular hourly pay. Okay, so that's how it would be.
You can leave that for a second, please.
Okay, 1 second, no problem. 1 second, right?
I just was writing time and a quarter.
No, leave it on. Oh, like soon finish.
No problem. It's fine.
I want time on the quarter.
It's no problem.
Yeah, me too.
So if you was doing it the other way, you would have, if they say time and a quarter, you would have divided 1050 by 4. Okay. And for time and a half, you divide 1050 by 2. And double time, you multiply 1050 by 2. Someone's music is on.
Okay, I got it.
Please ensure that your mic is muted. Look at this. Yeah.
You can go back on the left.
No, sure, no problem.
I got it.
Okay, good.
I have now.
Okay, no problem. All right, perfect. So remember when you're doing this, this is actually a bracket, okay? Just bracket on all two. So don't just do one bracket. All right, so yeah, so this one you just have to memorize it, and this is how our teacher basically taught us it. She just says like, you know what? I'm sure she explained it if I remember clearly, so we just, the basic gist was to remember this, But as you move forward, you begin to understand that they actually the accent with time and half of it, you know. Okay, so moving forward, let's see how we doing with time. Is this thing even recording? Okay, one moment, let me check it. Okay, it is. Wow, how did that happen? I don't know how 20 minutes passed so quickly, man. I don't know.
So, Mr. Petit,
Go ahead.
We
does it
work
come
on
a,
time
an
and a
next
half.
way, like find a percentage and what's not?
Say it again.
Does the questions come a next way, like find a percentage?
The percentage you mean for overtime?
Yeah,
Not for
like that.
overtime. Not for overtime. Not percentage for overtime. They don't
You know what I
usually-
mean, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but they don't ask a percentage for overtime unless they asking for like when it come down to the bottom they would say stuff like a person got like 5% um NIB deducted from their salary, and then you have to figure out what would be their net income, something like that. But that's the only time percentage will come with these questions, when they asking you to deduct something from their salary, like NIB claims or something else. All right.
So you can't turn it into a percent?
No, they wouldn't ask you to turn this overtime stuff into percentage. Okay. All right. So he worked 6 hours overtime on Saturday. How much was his overtime pay? So overtime pay. What happened now? So how would we do this? I think this one is pretty straightforward as well. How would we do it? Overtime.
The multiply times 6, the overtime for 1 hour times 6.
Definitely. So overtime pay for 6 hours is going to be equal to. So it's going to be equal to
15.75 times.
Yes, definitely. So it's going to be overtime pay for 1 hour multiplied by
6.
multiplied by 6 multiplied by number of hours of overtime that he worked. One moment, let me see. And so we know that according to the question, he get pays for 1 hour of overtime. For 1 hour overtime, he get pays $15.75. And then the number of overtime hours that he worked was definitely 6 hours. And so it's going to be $15.75 multiplied by 6 to give us what we need. So we got how much?
$24.
$94.50.
Definitely $94.50. So overtime was this, and there we go. Alright, good. So the number of overtime hours, so the number of the amount that he got paid for overtime was $90-something. $94.50. So the question of the day: would you work at this job?
Mm,
You know, I got bills to pay
Yeah.
in.
It would
Why
depend on what stage of life you're talking about.
What stage of life? Okay, I like that. I like that response. What stage of life? At your current stage of life.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, job and also paying that kind of amount though.
I know. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Um, but
But I'm saying it's good for like your early 20s,
yeah,
and
your early 20s.
but I feel like late 20s it should be,
Yeah, by the time you,
push harder,
by the time you like, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I don't go into no 30s, 40s making the same.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. This is definitely a good start. Um, you're 16, 17.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's how much they make overseas
over what?
in the United States. Some states pay that
Yeah,
at Wendy's, and they
yeah. That's true. That's true. That's so true. Anyway, for 6 hours of overtime, you get $94.50, and for his regular pay, he got $420. Okay, so yeah, so that's how we calculate that. Now, the natural question is, we
Can you go back in the question, please?
sure, no problem. So the natural question is, we could even predict what their question gonna be even before they ask us it. Is how much he get paid for the week work. All right,
How to feel?
so that should be the question. How much does he get paid for a week work?
so they asking for the overtime plus the 40 hours.
Definitely,
Oh, yeah, man.
definitely.
Right.
So, all right. So this is going to be calculate his total pay when he work his basic hours plus 6 hours on Saturday. All right,
Keyword on Saturday.
on Saturday. Why is that a keyword?
Because they're getting paid time and a half.
Yeah, time and a half. But I think the good thing is that they already set it up for us, eh? Because we already know how much you get paid for Saturday, $94.50, and
But I think that would still trip up some people because they would just like, oh, that just means 46 hours.
oh wow, that's interesting. I wouldn't even think of that, but you're right. All right, so total pay is going to be equal to regular hours work. Sorry, pay rather, pay for regular hours plus overtime pay on Saturday, which is going to be equal to, mic is on. Please keep your mic off if you're not speaking. What it is? Disrespectfully. Alright, so it's going to be equal to his regular pay for 40 hours. It's going to be, that's 420, right?
120.
Then we're going to add that to his overtime pay, which is $94.50, which is going to be equal to, anyone got it yet?
$444.50.
Say it again. Still in the 400s? 420.
My bad. I put
5, 14, 50.
94.
You forgot the 94?
No, I put 24 instead of 94.
Oh, okay. What you got, Mr. Bethel?
$514.50.
Definitely. So at the end of the 46 hours of work, he gets to go home with about $500.
Yeah, I get that now.
Good. All right. That's double, nearly double, eh? What is basic pay in the Bahamas? 210.
Yeah.
Or
So
250.
250.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere
Some people
around.
get less.
Depends on the job.
Depends on the job. Okay, so we making double with
So it's 210. That don't change.
yeah. All
If
right.
you get more than that in a day, minimum, no more. Simple.
All right. Okay, good. Okay, so that's it. I want you to send in
Hold on, don't take it off there.
no problem. Send in the question and answers for this one. Please send them in. I want to see what you're doing, especially those persons who are not answering. I need to know what you're doing. Please, I need to see your notes. All right. If you know you're not answering, I need to see your notes. I need to know what you're doing, if you're here or not. It would be a pity for you to be on Netflix watching Love and Harmony. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I just made it up. uh,
I mean, you could always take the horse to the well.
But you can't make them drink.
definitely. Definitely. All right, so we can move now.
Yeah, I have it.
You have it?
I
Okay.
ready to move.
Okay, good. So now this question, I looked at this question today. I was like, okay, we could do it. So I hope you have some sort of graphing material because we're gonna plow through this question. Okay, so this is in sequence because we already finished these ones, the cylinder and the cube, and we already finished the factorization and stuff. So coming along in sequence, we find this question about graphing. Okay, and the neat thing about that is they always give you um where are we graphing paper, and so we're gonna use their graphing paper to graph it so that you get a sense of what it is. Make sure fill out this part. So once you get your graph paper, fill out this part. Make sure put your school number, your candidate number. Don't worry about this. Okay, that's for examiner's use. But make sure put your surname and initials, your signature, and what's not. Yeah. Okay, so just consider this question. The thing about this is that we first have to fill in the blanks, to fill in the missing, to fill in the missing numbers. The good thing about this is that they don't usually, like remember for our questions, we had to fill in a bunch of them. They usually give us a lot, and we only have to fill in like 2. So that makes it like 100 times easy compared to the questions that we are used to. So let's fill in this, let's fill out this table. And again, it's only 2 that they have missing that we have to figure out. And it's interesting that they actually also gave us they actually want us to find with the x. That's also interesting. And here they want us to find with the y. The y is easier, but the x is a bit different. It's a bit different. I wonder how much points this is for. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's actually a part of it. They say calculate the missing value of y. I see y, that's only 1 point. And calculate the missing value of x. That's actually for 3 points. And you're gonna see y. Okay. All right, so let's consider it. So we're gonna first figure out what the missing value of x is. And the missing value of x is right here. That's the missing value. Sorry, we're gonna first find out the missing value of y. Again, we're gonna find out what's the missing value of y. That's right here. That's this missing one. Okay, this is missing value of y. How do I know that? Because this is y. All this is y. And so the missing value of y is right here. So that's the first one we're gonna do, and then we're gonna do the missing value of x. Again, the missing value of y is very straightforward. All we need to do is take our formula and substitute. Okay, so let's do that. So we know that according to our formula, that y equals 3 plus 2x. So that's what y is. Y literally is equal to 3 plus 2x. Okay, 2 divided by x. Now we gotta go to the missing value of y. That's right here. And my question is, what is the x value associated with this missing value?
4.
Definitely 4. Okay, so here is x. We have x of 4. So x is going to be equal to 4. We know that. We know that x equals to 4. And so since x equals to 4, we're going to substitute that into here. So it's going to give us what? 3 plus
3 plus 2 over 4.
3 plus 2 over 4. And what is 2 over 4? Isn't that simply 3 plus a half? You agree? Because 2 over 4 is
Can
a
you
half.
repeat it?
Like 2 over 4 is a half, right?
Yes, sir, when you simplify.
When we simplify. Because, you know, if we have 2 divided by 4, we could divide the top by 2.
So if it's like that and you could simplify, you would always simplify it?
Definitely simplify it. And so what is 2 divided by 2? That's 1. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2 over 4 is actually 1. It's actually a half. But what is a half? Isn't a half simply 0.5? Right? And what is 3 plus 0.5?
3.5?
3.5.
5. Definitely.
3.5.
Alright, so 3.5. So the missing value of y is what?
3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Definitely. So just to go over it again, let me tell you what I did. All I did was I said, okay, well, what is the missing value of y? Well, here's the missing value of y. And I used the formula that they give us. Okay, y equals to 3 plus 2 over x. And I said, okay, well, y is equal to 3 plus 2x. But what is x? The value of x that is associated with this missing value of y is 4. Here, x is 4. So we're going to substitute x for 4. So it's going to be 3 plus 2 over 4. But 2 over 4 is simply a half. So we left with 3 plus a half. And a half is simply 0.5. So it's going to be 3 plus 0.5. And 3 plus 0.5 is definitely 3.5. And so the missing value of y, therefore, is definitely going to be 3.5. Okay.
So you do that same thing to find the missing value of x?
No. The reason why is because we have to first find the x formula. Okay. Here they gave us the y formula. We was given the y formula. Now, in order to find x, so in order to figure what the x value is, we need to first find out what is the x equation. Okay, and then we can substitute. Okay, so alright, so with that in mind, let's do it. Can I move from this?
Yes, so.
Okay, let's okay. Alright, so let's go. Okay, so let's consider this one.
You go back there. I'm gonna take a picture.
No problem. Any questions on how I got 3.5? We good?
Yes, so.
Okay, so.
Well, so you have to turn it into a decimal, right?
Yeah, we had to turn it into decimal. Reason why is because, if we look carefully, all of these are in decimal, right? I mean, their answers are in decimal, so the most natural thing to do is to convert it to a decimal, and plus we're gonna graph it, so you know, put it as a decimal. It makes it easier to graph. Okay. So that's that. All right, so next up we have to find out, excuse me, to find out the missing x value. Okay, so the missing x value. The missing value of x. Notice how it's three marks. So we have to do, you know, a little Kung Fu Panda and we should be alright. The missing value, the missing x value. Okay, so remember, in order to find what the x value, we need to figure what is the x equation. In order to figure what is the x equation, we have to manipulate or change up or you know, change around this formula, the y formula. And so let's do that. We're gonna try to make x the subject. So here we have y equals 2. So y equals to 3 plus 3 plus 2 over x and so remember we are trying to make x all by itself. All right, we want to put x on one side and everything else on the other side. So the first thing we're going to do here is move the 3 over the equal sign, and if we do that, we're going to have what? Y. Someone help me out. If we move the 3 over, it's going to be what? Y
minus 3.
Y minus 3. And y minus 3. Y minus 3.
Because on the opposite side it was positive, and when you take
when you carry it over, it becomes a negative.
Becomes a negative.
Y minus 3 is going to be equal to, the only thing we have left on this side now is what?
2 over x.
2 over
Yeah, 2 over x. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to cross multiply. So let's do that. So you're going to put this whole thing over 1. Alright. And then we're going to multiply the 1 by the 2. We're going to multiply the x by this entire term. So this is going to be equal to x open bracket y minus 3 yeah, y minus 3 close bracket and 1 times the 2, which is going to be equal to simply 2. I don't think that would be a good idea if we do the inverse. Okay, the problem I'm having here is that if we do x times y, that's going to be xy, and if we do x minus 3x, that's going to be oh, okay, it's just natural now. Okay, so what do we do at this point? Okay, this is good. Yeah, this is good. It's pretty good.
Multiply x with everything inside the bracket.
Say it again.
I actually multiply x by everything in the bracket.
No. Remember.
Do we put it over x? I mean, do we put it over, or we could cancel out, like divided?
Divided by what?
We could
Divided by what?
We could. What if I have two answers? Can it be over the x? No, but y minus 3.
We trying to
y minus 3.
Yes, we have to divide both sides by y minus 3. And the reason why is because we're trying to get rid of the y minus 3 because we want x by itself. Okay, so we have to divide it by y minus 3. So this is y minus 3. Both sides now by y minus 3. Okay, so in that case, this would cancel out with that, right? Leaving us with what? Leaving us with x
Equal
equals
2
2 over
y minus 3.
2 over y minus 3.
Y minus 3.
So 2 over y minus 3. All right.
So that's the formula, right?
So that's the x formula, definitely.
So, Mr. Petit, what kind of equation is this?
What kind of equation it is?
Yeah.
It's certainly not it's not a linear function. We call them reciprocal functions. So let me show you what I mean. So, and you'll see it when, so reciprocal function. Yeah, we call them reciprocal functions. They have this sort of look, okay, or this sort of look. You see this line here and then this line here. That's how the graph is gonna look.
All right.
Yeah. They also call them inverse functions too. So inverse function is also another word. It's also another word that we could use for it. Sorry, inverse functions. No, not inverse functions. Inverse functions. This could be an inverse of another function, but not inverse functions in general. The right word is reciprocal, like we said before. It's really a reciprocal function because this is the general form of it. Yeah, it's gonna look something like this, and when we graph it, the side is gonna look something like that. Let me see.
So the default formula is in y.
Say it again. Yeah,
Like
you always.
default is from y.
Yeah, so it's typically written in terms of y. That's how we typically write our functions in terms of y. Yeah, it's a reciprocal function. So a reciprocal function is a function. So either they say y or they say f of x. They mean the same thing. They're gonna look something like this. Okay. Okay, all right. We good, we straight. So, all right, good. So we know what the x equation is. And so now we are now going to find out what the value of x is in this case. So we know that, so now that we already figured the formula, so let's actually solve it. So we know that here is the missing value of x. Now what is the associated y value with this missing
4.5.
4.5. The associated y value with this missing x value is 4.5. So here we can easily say that y is equal to what? 4.5.
4.5.
4.5, definitely. And so we're going to use that idea when we use our inverse function. So it's going to be, so our reciprocal function. So it's going to be x is equal to 2 over y minus 3. So x is going to be equal to 2 over, what is y?
4.5.
4.5, definitely. Minus 3. Okay, so x is equal to 2 over, what is 4.5 divided by 3? I mean 4.5 minus 3, sorry.
1.5.
1.5. And what is 2 divided by 1.5? 2 divided by 1.5 is what?
I get 1.33.
1.33. 1.33. The phone is like completed enough. So I get 2. So 3 over 2 over 1 multiplied by I don't like that answer though. Let's see. 2 over 1 divided by, I just doing a quick sketch. 3 over 2 is going to be equal to 2 over 1 multiplied by, what is 3 over 2? We have to switch it, right? Because we divide in.
2 over 3.
2 over 3 is going to be 4 over 3. And 4 over 3 is 1.33. Yeah, that's correct. I still don't like that though. Let me check our answer. Because I wasn't expecting them to give us a continuous decimal. I was expecting them to give us something that terminates. So let's see. So we got 1.33, and if we represent it as a, just the 2 decimal places, it'll be 1.33, right? So that's the answer we got. But I'm gonna check it using the graphing calculator to see if we making sense or not. So if you practicing a good calculator, graphing calculator uses decimals, I like to use it. And our function is y equals to what? 2 plus, was it what? What it was? Y equals to what? 3 plus?
Why is this
3 plus what? 3 plus 2 over x?
2 over x?
Okay, so this is how the graph's supposed to look at the end of the day. We're looking for a table of values. Good. So we got for this value, oh man, can we edit it? We only can edit our x. So what we got? 4 over 3, right? 4.5. Is that it? Yeah, so we good. We good. So
Just one curious question, Mr. T.
go ahead.
Are they asking us to graph that?
Yeah, we have the graph done.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta graph it. So the answer is 4 over 3, which is approximately 1.33. Okay. So I will put here for our answer 1.33. So this one is gonna be 1.33. I rounded the 2 decimal places. Okay. We can say 1.3 or 1.33. You know what? In harmony with what they have, it'd be better to just put 1.3. No, 1.3. But 1.33 will work too. It doesn't matter. Okay, next up. So I'm gonna go before we graph it. I don't want to go too much in depth with this question yet, because I realize it's taking long. So let's go back to a familiar question and then come back. I don't want to bog your minds too much. It's a good time to take the register. It's 7 o'clock.
Want to do the images for this?
Yes, send me the images for that, please. Thank you so much. Send me the images for this. And for those who don't know where to send images, you're going to send images right to my WhatsApp number. That's 428-8971. Please send images to that. Okay, so let's go back to, when I say images, I mean the notes. So you write down the notes and you send it to me on my WhatsApp chat, so I can see exactly what you're doing. Okay, so, all right, I like this question. I don't even want to do this one, man. It's just...
So, Mr. D, we finished that question or not?
We're not finished it. I just don't want to finish it right now. We ain't finish it. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to stay in them unfamiliar questions for so long. Then people get sleepy, and then you lose them. But we're coming right back to it. Alright, so let's do some variation. Coming back to that unfamiliar question. Okay, so this one says last year, Mary. So write down the question for me, and then once we're done with the entire question, send it to me on my WhatsApp chat. So it says last year Mary paid $60 for a printer. This year, the same type of printer cost $75. Calculate the increase in price of the printer. So how would we go about doing this?
Subtract.
Subtract what?
75 minus
60 from 75.
Yes, definitely.
60 from 75.
Definitely. So it's going to be... So the increase in price
And then
is going to be equal to what? $75
$75
minus $60. And what is 75 minus 60?
15.
15.
Good, so they increased the price by whole $15. Wow. Just in 1 year. But that don't happen in real life though, right?
It gradually happens, like slowly.
Slowly.
It depends on the item because yeah, like if a laptop, it's like $400, it'll go up to $450 or $475. It depends on
the item. That's true. That's true. You're not lying. So increase in price is $15. So the next question is express.
Can you go back on the bliss?
Okay, sure. So the increase in price, all we did here was subtract. Okay.
Oh, yeah, man.
Okay, so the next question says express this as a percentage of the original price of the printer. Okay, so we have to express this as a percentage of the original price of the printer. So they want us to take our answer in A, right, which we got was $15, and express that as a percentage of the original price. Okay, so let's do that. So we want to, so what we'll do here, so we'll just take the change in price, and we're gonna divide that by the original price. So let me insert this. Give me one moment. Good. So remember, it's going to be, instead of saying change in price, let's say the increase in price. Okay. So the increase in price would be at the top.
Divided by the original, right?
Divided by the original. There we go. Divided by the original price. And then we're going to multiply that by what to make it a percentage?
100.
100. Very good. Kennedy, they can't say you want to learn that in maths. 100 over 1. And so, okay, so it's going to be equal to, what is the increase in price?
$15.
$15. We saw that was $15. What's the original price?
$60.
$60, yes. And we're going to multiply that by 100 over 1. Okay, which is going to be equal to, sorry, sorry. Good. Okay, so how will we do this? There's different ways we could do it.
Cross translation.
We can cancel out. Or we just can multiply straight across. What is 15 times 100? Gonna be what?
1,500.
1500 divided by, what is 60 times 1?
60.
Yeah, it's gonna be equal to, I guess now we could just simply divide it. So what is 15,000 divided by 60?
25.
25. Okay, so this is going to be 25%. Okay. So wow. So they increased the price by 25%. Okay. So by moving it from $60 to $75, they increased the price by 25%. Okay, so are we good? Hello, are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
You all sort of quiet tonight. What is it? Is it because it's the 14th of February?
I was trying to see if I get the same answer.
Pardon?
I was trying to work it out to see if I get the same answer.
Is it because love is in the air? That's why?
What?
I'm not, Miss Adrian, I don't have no notes from you. Ariana, I don't have no notes from you. Ashanet, I don't have no notes from you. Chia, Collins, I don't have no notes. Danielle.
I seen it.
You sent it? Oh yes, you
Yes,
did.
sir.
You did. That's true. Who else I haven't seen? Daniela Road, I have no notes from you.
Miss Betty,
Yes.
could you go back to link to the photo, to the slide? Just one.
Yeah, one moment. Let me just find out these people. Haley, I don't have no notes from you. Oh well, I know your issue, Hastony. Jerry, I don't have no notes from you. Joseph, I don't have no notes from you. Natalia, I don't see anything from you. Who else? Chantel Saunders, I don't see nothing from you. Treasure, Hepburn, I don't see none from you. And Tyrese McDonald, I haven't seen anything from you. So please send in notes for me. Please. Okay. Oh yeah, and Mr. Bethel, as usual. Did he say anything? Yeah, no. Okay, so alright, so okay, so let's continue. Hey, no, is that it? To that. Do you have any more from that? Oh, okay. This probability question. Then after this probability question, we go
Miss
back.
Pussy, I have a quick question.
Go ahead. Oh, you just telling me to
Why,
stop, right? Go ahead.
why you didn't put it over 75?
That's a good question. Because 75 is not the original price. Notice that they said
Oh,
express
okay,
this as
okay,
a
okay.
percentage of the original price, right?
Alright.
So that's why. Very good question. Okay, so let's continue this. So it says a box contain a dozen cookies.
We done do this question already.
We did this probability question already, right?
That's all.
Yeah, okay, good. You're right. So we don't have to do this.
Yes.
Okay. And so, okay, yeah, let's do this one. So Jill thinks of a number n. Okay, I like this question. Huh. It's interesting. Very easy though, but sometimes people get confused with these stuff. So let's consider this one. It says here, Jill thinks of a number. So this is Jill. She's thinking of a number. We don't know what this number is. So let's call it n. Because we don't know what it is. We just say, you know what? Let's call it a letter. Let's let the letter n represent that number that she's thinking about. Now she takes the same number and then she multiplies it by 7, then adds it by 2. Her result is 37. Now write equation to represent the statement above. Anyone think about it?
So you put n.
And
5.
then
What?
close bracket plus 2 equals 37.
Say it again.
This is just a guess. Would it be n, open bracket n times 7 close bracket plus 2 equals 37?
Okay, that could work.
What about 7n plus 2 equals 37?
That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. That's what I was looking for. So he said that the equation is going to be, let's insert it. Let's do this properly. Remember, she's thinking about a number, and she's gonna multiply it by 7. So the number is, we call the number n. So let me increase that size so you can actually see it. So we call that number n. That's what she's thinking about. Now we're going to take this n, the same number that she's thinking about, and we're going to multiply it by what? We're going to multiply it by 7, right?
So Mr. Potato, you wouldn't have to just put, you wouldn't show like all of that, you just go straight to 7, eh?
You could do, I just showing it just for completeness. Then we're going to add it to 2. So she thinks about a number, she multiplied by 7, and then she adds it to 2. Okay? So 7 multiplied by n added to 2. But we know that 7 times n, okay? We know that 7 times n is definitely what?
7n.
7n, okay? And so this is our answer here.
That's the way I was thinking of it, to do that step first.
So the answer is 7n plus 2. Oh, but remember it equals
You won't put the 37.
yeah, it equals 37, so it's gonna be 37.
When I was doing in my book, I do that same thing, and I have to go back at the 37.
Okay. So it equals to 37. So one that I have in green is the final answer. Okay. What can?
So to know what that number is, you would subtract.
You subtract. We're gonna do it right now. Okay, so alright, so 7n plus 2 equals 37. Okay, so now let's consider. It says solve the equation to determine the value of n, and this is for 2 marks. Right? Now there's 2 ways to do this. Now we wanna do it the algebraic way, and that's the way I'm gonna show you. But even before we do the algebraic way, I just want you to think about it, right? And you'll easily get this. Watch. Like they're saying, find a number that when I multiply it by 7, then add 2 to it, I get 37. Think about it. Multiply it by 7, then add 2, and I end up with 37. What should this be so that when I multiply it by 7, then add 2 to it, I get 37?
5.
5. Like think about it. 7 times 5 is what?
35.
35. Plus 2 is?
37.
37. So n must be?
30. I mean, yes. 5.
N must be 5. Okay? So let's show that. Let's show it algebraically. So it's going to be 7n plus 2.
We get the question.
Going to be equal to 37. Let's finish this first and then I'll go back. Remember, we need the sender 2 over, because we want the 7n by itself. It's going to be equal to 7n is equal to 37 minus 2. Now 7n equals what? What is 37 minus 2?
35.
35. Good. Now we divide both sides by
7n.
it's just 7. Okay. Divide both sides by 7. So these two cancel. So the 7 and the 7 cancel out. So we get that n is going to be equal to, what is 35 divided by 7?
5.
5. Okay, so n equals 5.
Mr. Batiti, you could do it that way. You said first the multiplication way, and then you could write it as this way.
Okay, yeah, that's what I advise you to do. Like, just think about it first. Think about it, and then actually do it.
Mr. Petit,
Go ahead.
answer the question, please. Write down the question.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, I would advise you to do it like the thinky way first. Like, think about it first.
No, question B.
Question B or question B? Wait, give them a moment to write this down. Like, come in the question B. Yeah, I think you should. Excuse me. I think you should think about it first. You know, like what number would work, and then once you finish figure what number would work, and it makes sense to you, then solve it algebraically. The reason why I say this is because, you know, your algebra may not be strong, but if you know what number you're looking for, you could easily say, okay, well, if we got 9, if we got that n was 9, we could easily say, well, excuse me, like that is not exactly, we did something wrong. That's not right. So I think thinking about it first does help. So that's good. So
but if you are smart, do that.
Yeah, but you want to still show it algebraically though. You want to still show it. So the question B says solve the equation to determine the value of n.
Facility.
Present.
Okay. But when I just say 7n, when I say divided by 7n, would it make a difference?
Definitely would make a big difference, because if we divide by 7n, then we're just going to be number 5. When you
It'll
can
be 5.
5.
none would be on the other side, because if you divide both sides by 7 and then you cancel out both terms, then nothing on the other side except for 1, and that wouldn't make sense. You can't cancel out your variable. Okay, don't cancel out your variable. So it would make a difference when you want to divide by the number in the front. Okay.
Oh, you mean like if you cancel out the numbers and you leave the variable only be n, which is 1?
Now I'm saying is, okay, just don't cancel out the letter, because here what I'm trying to say is that if you had 7n, right? So you have 7n equals 35. What it was, 35 or 37? One of them. 35, right?
37. I mean 35.
If you divide both sides by 7n, right? You in big trouble, because if you cancel this out and cancel that out, what's left on this side? 1. So 1 is equal to 35 over 7n. And that don't help.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so be careful.
So sometimes you're trying to get rid of the 7.
Yeah, so we're trying to get rid of the 7, right?
Okay.
Alright, so I like this question. I like question number 8, but we're gonna go back to our graphing. And then we're gonna, if we have time, come back to that question. Okay. So yeah, so let's get the graphing. It says using a scale of 2 centimeters to 1 unit on each axis for, remember this? Anyone can tell me what this means?
0 is less than or equal to x. Oh goodness.
See?
Wait, hold on. 0 is less than or equal to x.
Oh boy, Mercy, you swear I thought I ain't taught you all this at all.
Okay, I know the beginning part, but then it will be x is less than or equal to
equal to.
Wait, 0 is less than or equal to x.
Excuse me, Mr. Sorry, I went out. What are we doing?
Trying to figure out what this means. I don't understand. It's like I didn't touch.
Oh, and that's the grid, like how you form your grid, whereas you put 0 on the farthest you go is 0, and the nearest you would go in is 7.
Okay, that's what it's saying.
The slope?
That's okay. Say the slope. You didn't say the slope just now.
No, that's how you plot your grid. So your grid, the highest number would be 7, and your lowest number would be 0.
Good. So
you asked not to call it.
No, I thought I heard slope. Said slope. I feel like that was Kennedy.
Yeah.
Kennedy. Alright. That's funny. Okay. What this basically mean is that x is between 0 and 7. Remember that? X is between 0 and 7. But 0 is included or excluded?
Included.
Included. 7 is included or excluded?
Included.
Included. So this is saying that 0 is between 0. Sorry, x is between 0 and 7. And this here is saying that y is between what? 0 and 9.
0 and 9.
Good. Okay. And so you see how inequalities come back to hunt us? I told you all, like, it's coming back. And I said it'll come back in interesting ways. Like, this ain't even an inequality question yet. You still have to understand inequality for it, right? Okay, so all this is saying, like Nancy said, is that for our x values, the lowest we could go is 0. And for our x values, the highest we could go is 7. And here they're saying for our y values, the lowest we could go is 0, and the highest we could go is 9. Okay, so that's what they're saying. And so what they did here, I don't know if you see it, but they actually cut out all the negatives. So Yeah, we don't have no negatives. You see that, right? We don't have no negatives.
Yes, sir. What about C?
And draw the graph of y plus 2 over x. Okay, so let's do this. So 2 centimeters to 1 unit. That means every 2 blocks, we would call that 1 unit. This is so important. 2 centimeters to 1 unit. So every 2 blocks is going to be 1 unit. Okay. All right. So since we're only going to be using the positive axis, we're going to draw a graph different than we normally would. What I mean is we're going to start from the bottom left. Okay. And so I'm sure what I mean. I wish this thing had anyway. Okay, yeah, we can start from the bottom left. Okay, good. So remember how much we need for we need 7 for the x. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, how much you need for the y? We need 9. Man, that's a lot.
9.
That's a lot. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and okay, we have to take a lot of this. I just didn't want to take a lot of the graph, but we can need all that we could get. Okay, let's see if we could do it right now. And hopefully, let's hope that that's enough. Okay, stop it right there. Okay, so let's paste this here. So I'm gonna check if this is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and let me see again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, good. Okay, so let's do this. So this one.
Question is, see how much boxes do you have going down and across, just to make sure I have the right amount?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me finish counting and then we'll see, right?
Okay.
Remember they said that every 2 units is 1 is 1. So that means that the bottom is going to be, oh my. Let me move this over to this side because it's giving me some issues. So that means that the bottom here is going to be 0, right? And so if we go 1, so we could call this 1. No, we can't call this 1. We have to call this one 1 after 2 blocks, right? So
Yes, sir.
So after 2 blocks, it's gonna be 1. There's 1 centimeter, and then after the next 2 blocks, it's gonna be 2 centimeters. Why? Because they said what? 2 centimeters
is 1 unit.
It's a unit.
It's 1 unit.
What if they say 1 centimeter to 1 unit?
Then you do 1 block.
Then your 2 would be 4.
Okay.
So, Mr. Petit.
Yes, sir.
So every time we're doing this kind of equation, we do the graph like this.
Wanted like this equation, and the reason why I know how the graph is going to be like that is because there's no negatives. If you look, right? If you look carefully at Melby, where that question is? Okay, yeah. If we look carefully at the question, right? The intervals they give us. What's the lowest that x could be, Ricardo? The lowest.
0.
0. Good. And that's not negative, right?
So.
What's the lowest that y could be?
0.
0, which is not negative. So we don't need to include negative. So we don't need to, like how we normally would center our graph to make sure we get the negative and the positive.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that because the lowest that x could be is 0. And every time you have it like this, where the lowest that x could be is 0 and the lowest that y could be is 0, then you do it like this. Okay.
Okay.
Would you be penalized otherwise?
I mean, you wouldn't be penalized. Yeah, because they say that you shouldn't go lower than 0. Now, if you draw it someplace else, but you don't include the negatives, that's fine. But the only issue I'm having here is space, because they tell you don't include the negatives because they want you to have space, and that's why they give you that. If you try to draw it at any other location other than where you have it, you're gonna be dealing with space issues. So it's better to corner it to the left.
Yes, but see, don't you lose points also because like they mark you based off like don't they give you extra points when you do it properly?
Okay, properly means that you don't include any negatives. So if you draw it in the middle and you don't include any negatives, still fine. But the problem that you'll be dealing with if you draw it in the middle is that you won't have enough space. Okay, so that's the problem. It's 5, 6, this is 7, this is 8. And so this is 8, this is...
So we doing 9 across?
9 on 9, not 9 across. Remember, it's how much across?
Oh.
How much did they tell us across?
7.
7. So the reason why that's a good question to raise, Miss Cooper. We do this because this is the y-axis, okay? This is the y-axis. I wonder if I could draw that someplace. Let me just put it in print. So this is the y-axis, and they said that for the y we could go as, this is the y-axis. Said that for the y-axis we could go as high as 9. Okay. So this is the y-axis. And then of course for the x-axis we have to go up to 7. So it's gonna be, here is 1. That's 1, okay. Oh my, that looked terrible. So here is 1. Here is 2. Here is 3. Here is 4. Here is 5. Here is 6. Here is 7. Okay. All right, we good, right?
Yes, sir.
And so let's label the x-axis. It's gonna be the x-axis.
Mr. Matik, I have a quick question. It may sound weird, but like, is that the full graph?
It has the, if this is the full graph, what do you mean?
Yeah, like, oh, okay, I understand. So we're not, it's not like the normal graph then where everything would be, even though it's different numbers. I thought it would have been centered.
That's what I'm saying. You right, no, you don't center it.
Oh, okay.
You put it to the left, okay? Alright.
Wait, we don't send it because it don't have negative, right?
Yeah, we won't send it because it don't have negative.
So if it didn't have no positive, we would do it at the top, right?
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. If it
Well, if it did happen.
That's so rare and it's so like but if it is the case, then if it is the case, I would center it in that case, or I would put it more. That's crazy, but you still need a reference, so they'll have to have 0, and so you're just dealing with the in that case I'd either center it depending on if I have space, or I would start from here and go this way. So I would make 0 right here, and then go -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. That's how I do. Okay, so alright, so let's plot the points. So all we need to do now. So the first point is 8 and 0.4. Now we have to be very careful. So 8 and 0.4. So we have the first find 0.4. Okay, so we have to be careful. So this is 0.5 right here, right? So 0.4 is right here. You understand, right? This is 0.5. This line.
What's up? Yeah, because it's like 0.5 is like half near the
exactly.
1. So yeah.
Yeah.
They go right here for 0.4. So this is 0.
Right in front of the 0.5 mark.
Yeah, let me do it and I'll say baby blue. So this is right there. Well, you gotta be precise with this, eh?
Really?
So 0.4. This is 0.4 and 8. Wow. And then next up is 0.5 and 7. Okay, so
we ain't labeling it, right?
No, we're not labeling it. So 0.5 is going to be this line here. Now we gotta look for 7. So it'll be this one. Alright. Okay, good. And then we need 1 and 5. 1 and 5. So 1 and 5. So this is 1 and this is 5. So 1 and 5. So that'll be this. Alright. So it's 1 and 5. Notice that the 1 is here and the 5 is across. So 1 and 5. Okay, next up we have this is 1.3, 1.3 and 4.5, right? Remember we found that this is 1.3. So 1.3 and 4.5. Okay, so so 1.3.
Be a little bit more in front of 1.4, right?
Yeah. 4.5, we need to find 4.5. So 4.5 is right here. And we need 1.3, which is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. But we gotta be, yeah, right, all right. 1.3. So this is 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 1.3. Can I zoom in with this? Oh, I can. So this is the 4.5 mark. And then we have to go 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And for this one, this was the 1 mark. It was 1 and 5. And then for this one, it was what was that? What's this one? What was the one was 7? I can't remember one was 7. 7 was what? 0.5? 0.5 and 7? And this was 0.4.
Yes, sir.
0.4 and 8. Okay. Okay, next we have 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Sorry, 2 and 4. So 2 and 4. So this is 2, and we're going to go all the way up to 4. 2 and 4. So 2 and 4. Okay. Next up, we have 3 and 3.7. That's 3 and 3.7. So it's going to be so this is 3. And then we're going to go to 3.7. 3 and 3.7. So this is 3. Then we have 3.5. And we got to go up to 3.7. So this is 3. Sorry, wait. This is, we got to go up to 3.5.
3.5, you have to go a little bit off.
3 and then 3.7. So let me do it again. 3 and 3.7. So we are already at 3 right here. Now we need 3.7. This is 3.5, right? This is 3.5.
Yes, sir.
Then 3.6. Then 3.7. We good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, right there. All right, and then next thing we have is, what's the next thing we have?
Just repeat.
Yes, sir.
Can you do that one again?
Okay, so if we look carefully, right?
4 and 2.
3, and then we want 3.7, so this is 3.5 right here. So if this is 3.5, it's going to be 3.6, and it's going to be 3.7. You see it? No?
Okay.
You see it? So this is 3.5, 3.6, then 3.7. All right? All right?
The next one is 4 and 3.5.
4 and what?
3.5.
4 and 3.5. That's what we got when we did it, right? So 4
Yeah.
and 3.5. Okay, so it's gonna be 4 and 3.5. So it's 4 and 3.5. So it's 4 and 3.5. So that's definitely right now. Okay, good. 4 and 3.5. And then after that, we have 5,
5 and 3.4.
5 and 3.4.
Right under 3.5 line.
So 5 and 3.4. 5 and 3.4. It's going to be right now.
Yes, sir.
Do it again. 5 and 3.4.
6 and 3.3. 6 and 3.3.
5 and 3.4. So this is 5 and 3.4. So 3.5 and then 3.4. Good.
And the last one is 6 and 3.3.
And the last one is 6 and 3.3. Okay, so it's going to be 6 and 3.3. There's 6 and then 3.1, 2, 3.
My stuff actually look like yours this time.
Okay, that's good. Good. 6 and 3.1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Okay, so we plotted all the points. And that's the easiest part. The hardest part comes with now drawing in the graph such that it touches every part. Okay, so let's see if we could do that. Alright, so this is the part I hated the most.
This is where the crickedness comes in.
So we're gonna try and hit every okay, so it's gonna be look something like this. Alright. Okay, hit that. Hit that. Hit that. Oh, we missed that. Oh, we missed that. Oh my goodness. That's going all the way off on that side. Okay, so that's basically the picture.
The lines of the beat
it should not be straight. It should be a curve. So don't connect it like this and like that and like no, don't connect it like that. Make sure it looks like a curve, okay? You understand what I'm saying?
Mine looks like a curve.
Okay, so this is our inverse function. So this is gonna be y equals, sorry.
I thought you said it ain't on an inverse function.
Not inverse function, reciprocal function. Thank you. This is gonna be y equals 2, was it 3 or 2? 2, right? No, 3 plus.
So it's y equals 4.
That's it? That's it?
Yes, no.
Okay. Okay, the only mistake, the mistake that I have here is that this have to be, this have to come on, this should have come in more closer there. It shouldn't have that U looking shape. But aside from that, it's pretty good. All right.
If you're done, you can go to the questions. I can write it down.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
We reached the part where we don't. We just find y is equal to 7 minus 3. I mean x.
What do you mean?
C.
C? Oh, wait, one moment. Weinberger is trying to get in the class. When was this? 7:48? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so can we move on?
Yes, sir, but can I get just one more glance at the TV?
One more glance, okay, a glance. A glance.
I'm done, thank you.
Very good.
Basically, you see how one question, you see how the question have like 4 points at the bottom? Would like them points include, would just be like for the way you set up your graph?
Yeah, definitely. So you have to have you have to
So
have
that's the instruction.
yeah, you have to have the label, okay? You have to have our labeling. You have to have it spaced up such that it's for every 2 spaces it's 1 unit. You have to ensure that there's no negatives, okay? And you have to make sure that it's a perfect curve. So yeah, those things matter. Okay, so let me see those graphs, please. Let me see them. Send them in for me, please. I want to see those graphs. How they look. Okay, so let's go back to the more familiar questions. This question 3% normally have issues with. You have to really think about this one. But it's pretty straightforward, but you have to know how to deal with directed numbers. So it says a scuba diver is driving at a depth of, a scuba diver is diving rather at a depth of -4 feet. He dives down another 8 feet.
We doing this?
And yeah, we're doing it. Then rises 5 feet. At what new level is he diving? Think about it.
-7 feet.
-7. Okay, someone say -7. Anyone else?
One minute.
1 minute. He's diving at 1 minute. Someone said 1 minute. We have okay, so let's consider this. So excuse me. So remember that he is at 4 feet. That's where he is at currently. So we're gonna say at -4 feet rather. So -4 feet is where he is. Now he's going to dive down another 8 feet. So he's going to get lower. Okay. So since he's going to get lower, we're going to say minus what?
8.
Okay, because he's getting lower. Right? Minus 8. Good. But then he rises what?
5 feet.
5 feet. So what are we going to use for rise? Plus. So he rises 5 feet. It's going to be +5. Okay, and so we could add it all up. It's going to be equal to, what is -4 minus 8?
12.
-12.
Yeah, -12. Plus 5.
7.
What is it?
7.
7.
It's gonna be, so remember, you have $5, you owe 12. So pay them back the $5 that you owe them. So it's gonna be, you're gonna still owe them how much left?
So the somehow I get 8. I get 13. I don't know where I get 13 from.
Oh, I know either. So minus.
My answer was 8, but
yeah, so you did something wrong. It's gonna be -7. So his new level. Okay. Moving right along.
Oh, don't take it off.
Okay.
when you add negative, you just I mean, when you subtract the negative, instead of subtracting, just add them?
Yeah, you add them and then put the negative sign.
Okay.
If there are two negatives now.
Alright.
Okay, so we good, Ricardo?
Yeah, I have it.
Alright, good. Okay. So moving right along, it's going to be... Okay, so we did this already, right?
Yes, sir.
The shed and everything. And so when we did also did the overtime.
Mr. T.
Probability, yes, sir.
Please go over the problems with.
Yeah, we could do it, but I have to do it after class though. Did we do this?
No, sir.
We didn't convert it? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, this is easy though. This is yeah, this is easy. Okay, so we're gonna end with this question. So alright, so 3A and then B. Okay, so this one should be natural for us. You know, they always ask us for conversion. And so we have to convert grams to kilograms. Remember, what do we remember? What's the acronym? Anyone can remember?
Son of a knock. I can't remember though.
Don't knock him down.
Let's start with a K or something.
Knock him down.
Knock him down, minister. Don't
Don't
commit
commit
murder.
murder.
Yeah, minister, don't commit murder.
Definitely. So knock him down. Now we're dealing with grams, so we're not gonna say minister, we're gonna say Grammy.
Grammy.
Don't commit murder. Okay, so we know that the G.
So you always change the fourth one?
Yeah, depending on what it is. So if it's liters, it's gonna be L. If it's grams, it's gonna be G. If it's meters, it's gonna be M.
Okay.
So grams is definitely for G, and kilograms is definitely for H. And we're trying to move from grams to kilograms, and so we're gonna move here 1, 2, and 3. And so we noticed that it was 3 times we moved, so we have to put 1, 2, and 3 zeros in front of the 1. So we know that we're dealing with 1,000. Okay. Now, if we're moving from big to small, what must we do? We're moving from big to small.
Divide.
Divide.
Well, we're moving from a big unit to a small unit. That's not true.
Subtract. Divide.
Multiply.
Multiply. Remember, you always do the action with your hands, you know. Open your hand big, wide, as in to say big, and then bring it together like a cross. So you know you're multiplying. Okay, and so that's the thing. Now, if you're moving from small to big, you start with your hand. You start with your hand cross, and you open it wide. Your head will be the first sign for the division, and then your navel will be the next sign. So that means you're dividing. So if you're moving from a small unit to a bigger unit, you would definitely divide. Now here we are moving from a big unit to a small unit, or from a small unit to a big unit.
A small unit to a big unit.
Small to big.
Yeah, because grams is always smaller than kilograms.
Kilograms.
So we're moving from a small unit to a big unit, and so we're going to definitely be dividing by what number?
1,000.
1,000. Good.
And I say we divide.
No, I was asking if big to small. Big to small.
Oh, you was on big to small. Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so now, so what we're gonna do here is so we're gonna take 4,500 and 60 grams. We're going to say that that is equal to, open bracket, 4,560 grams. Oh, no, let's not put any units yet. Is equal to 4,560 divided by 1,000, and that's going to be all kilograms. So this is going to be equal to, what is 4,560 divided by 1,000? Remember, we got to move it how much times to the left?
3.
3.
3 times.
3
It's
times.
going to be, there's no point in sales, so it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. So we are left with 4,
4.5.
5, 6, 0 kilograms. All right. Yes.
Is this also orders of magnitude?
Orders of magnitude? That term sounds familiar, no, but I can't remember what it's referring to.
Like when you put 10 to the minus.
Yeah.
Like 4.
Yeah.
Miss Fatigue, does 0 have to be behind the 6? Because my calculator is not, it isn't put in, I don't think it's added with zeros,
No, it doesn't. The 0 is not needed because
okay.
4.560 is the same thing as 4.56.
All right.
Okay.
So, Mr. Petit, that would be 4. How do you write it in the orders of magnitude?
In scientific notation. Well, we could write it as for the other persons, you don't have to worry about this. I'm just answering his question. This is here correct, right? But if you want to write it differently, so it's going to be 4. So we have 4.56, and okay, that's equal to well, we don't really need to change anything. The only thing we can do is we can multiply it by 10 to the 0. We don't need to change anything. You don't need to change anything unless you take 4,560 and you multiply it by 10 to the power of a -3. Then that's the same thing.
Okay, so it's the power of -3.
Yeah, it's gonna be the power of -3 because we and it makes sense because if we look at it right, it's gonna be 4,560 times 10. 10 to the -3 is just 1 over 10 to the third. And we know that 10 to the third is just 1,000, so it's going to be 4,560 divided by 1,000. Okay, which is exactly what we have. So this is another way to write it. but that's not necessary. Just keep it simple to this, unless you're in physics or something.
Well, I am in physics and chemistry.
Good luck, my friend. We can pray your strength. Okay.
We're getting there, you know. The wall breaking down. I using the chisel.
I like that. I like the sound of that. Okay. Okay, so next up is okay, so they saying here, oh wow, we finished, man. Oh man, this I always get 805 already. Okay. Alright, I ain't gonna waste no more time on maths. Let's move on to English, and then we're gonna do this question. We're gonna begin with question beyond tomorrow. Alright, so send in all the maths notes, please. That includes those persons who have not been sending in anything. Send in the maths notes for me, please. You know who you are. Make sure send in the maths notes for those who have not seen anything as yet. Okay, so alright. As per usual, I'm excited for English. Really am.
We're still going on papers.
Yeah, we still are. We are still on the writing side of things. Okay. So we're still on the writing side of things. And this time we are reading another article. I just like to know what these articles are talking about, man. They are always interesting. I feel like you always learn something from them that you didn't know before. So, I wonder what this one is talking about. Transforming the American West through food and hospitality. Transforming. This is a nice vocabulary word. Transforming the American West through food and hospitality. Hospitality is a good word. A good I like this word.
Transforming is changing from one state to another.
Yeah, so transforming means change, to alter, right? When they say the American West, what do you think they're talking about? And when they say food and hospitality, what are they referring to?
You mean the way the food change? In the western part of America?
The western part of America. What are we gonna do with that? We're gonna transform it through what?
Food and hospitality?
Food and hospitality. When we say hospitality, what do we mean?
Like the way you
do stuff, like culture-wise, or like...
No, definitely not.
The way you take care of someone?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we'd say that if someone is very hospitable, what are some things that they would do when you enter their house?
They would greet you.
They'd greet you, yeah. What else? What else do they do?
They would offer you assistance.
Yeah, they'd offer you assistance. They'd say, "Hi, do you want any food? Do you want any water? Do you want any?" If you say no, you don't want water, they ask you if you want a soda. If you say no, you want a soda, they ask if you want juice. If you say no, you don't want juice, they ask you. Like, they very hospitable. They make sure, man, are you comfortable? Let me make sure that they are very hospitable persons, right? So yeah, so they're talking about transforming the American West through food and hospitality. Nancy.
When they say West, they mean like West as in like the Americas, right? Like,
I don't think so. I think they talking about the Western region of America.
Okay, I don't read.
But we'll have to look in the passages to see.
Yeah, because usually it's a war between the West and the East.
Okay, so Nancy, you want to read?
No.
No? Nancy said no. Okay, Cooper, you want to read?
Some of them words ain't for me, sorry.
Some of them words ain't for you. Wow, everybody shying away. Floyd. You want to read?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm not an avid. I'm not an avid reader.
Yeah, I know true. I know true. All them hard questions used to be asking. Why would be an avid reader? Okay, so who's gonna read? Who's gonna be my reader? I know I'm Nixon tonight.
I can try and read.
That's what Destiny.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you for volunteer. Braves, that Destiny comes to the forefront when everybody shine away. Thank you, Destiny. So Destiny, you're gonna read.
Thank you, Anthony.
You're gonna read from 22. All right, I'm gonna let you read just this paragraph right now.
Okay.
Just this short thing. So I'm gonna plow my way through this episode, through this read. It should be nice though. This is very easy compared to the other ones. This should be a very easy read.
Elizabeth, you make sure that's the end.
Say it again.
You make sure that's the end of the passage because the last time you all talked about standard.
I did. All right. Okay, so it says, just as travelers taking road trips today may need to take a break for food at a rest area along the highway, settlers traversing the American West by train in the mid 1800s often found themselves in need of refreshment. However, food available on rail lines was generally of a terrible quality. Despite having worked for railroad companies, Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur, he decided to open his own restaurant business to serve rail customers. Beginning in the 1870s, he opened dozens of restaurants in rail stations and dining cars. These Harvey houses, which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States, was unique for its high standards of service and quality. The menu was modeled after those of fine restaurants, so the food was leagues beyond the sinister fare travelers were accustomed to receiving in transit. His restaurants were immediately successful, but Harvey was not content to follow conventional business practices. Although women did not traditionally work in restaurants in the 19th century, Harvey decided to try employing women as waitstaff. In 1883, he placed an advertising seeking educated, well-mannered, articulate young women between the ages of 18 and 30. Response to the advertising was overwhelming, even tremendous, and Harvey soon replaced the male service at his restaurants with women. Those who were hired as Harvey girls joined an elite group of workers who were expected to complete a 30-day training program and follow a strict code of rules for conduct and curfews. In the workplace, the women donned identical black and white uniforms and carried out their duties with precision. Not only were such regulations meant to ensure efficiency of the business and safety of the workers, but also help to raise people's generally low opinion of the restaurant industry. In return for the service work, the position paid quite well for the time, $17.50 a month, plus tips, meals, room and board, laundry service, and travel expenses. For as long as Harvey houses served rail travelers through the mid-20th century, working there was a steady and lucrative position for women. Living independently and demonstrating an intense work ethic, the Harvey girls became known as a transformative force in the American
West is advancing the roles of women in the restaurant industry and the American workforce as a whole. The Harvey girls raised the standards for restaurants and blazed a trail in the fast-changing landscape of the Western territories.
Very good, very good. Thank you, brave soldier. Okay, so what is the main idea? What is this thing talking about? Anyone?
The transition in the workplace from males to females in the West.
Okay, that was a big one. Go ahead. Anyone else? That's a big idea. Anyone else? What is this about? Don't be shy. What's the passage about? What you got from it? Any thoughts on it?
Also, the hospitality that the real
They were talking about
people, companies, the real company workers.
You mean the restaurant ones?
Yeah, the hospitality for the real company workers.
Okay.
It's also in mind.
Definitely. Anyone else? This is a very easy passage. Anyone else can think of?
The transition from the beginning to the end was different because it started off not so good, but as the years go on, it began to progress and it began to develop. So,
you sure? Because, okay, say your comment again so I can understand what you're saying.
Okay, I shouldn't say like how it transformed over the years, depending on how it first started. Well, based off of the beginning, how it transitioned then.
Okay. I can accept that. Anyone else? Okay, so just a basic summary of what happened in the passage. So, there was a problem, and the problem was that even though they had a bunch of railroads, with the trains and what's not, and persons passing through and through, there was a big problem with with driving on those trains. When you come to the American West, what was the big problem that needed to be fixed?
they didn't have refreshments.
Not that they didn't have refreshments; they had refreshments.
It wasn't good quality.
The quality was terrible.
The quality was terrible, right? The quality was terrible. And one thing about food that tastes bad, you want to throw it away. And so the food was stale and the hospitality was poor. And so someone, what's the name of the guy who decided to start
Fred Harvey.
Fred Harvey, right? What the ironic thing about Fred Harvey? Anyone can tell me the ironic thing about Fred Harvey?
He's an entrepreneur. Yeah,
he's an entrepreneur.
He opened his own restaurant.
What the ironic thing that I find is that he was working at the real train business. So for him to start a company to kind of work against them is interesting. But he's working there for a while, and I guess go ahead. Okay, so he's working there. Yeah, so he's working there for a while, and so I guess he saw that, wow, persons really need a change of pace here. So he decided to open up these restaurants, and the success of the restaurant was progressive or immediate?
Immediate.
It was an immediate success.
Okay.
And it was immediate success because of certain things that he did. What were some of the things that he did to ensure that it was an immediate success?
He raised the quality and hospitality.
Yeah, he raised the quality, right? And the quality of food, so the food tasted better. That was one major thing. And the hospitality there was very good. And I got a sense that, from reading the passage, a sense that he had good structure. With running the business. But there was a major transformation that he did. Besides, increasing hospitality and quality of food, there's a major transformation that he did. That was even bigger than the food. What was it?
Allowing women to work in the restaurants.
Yeah, by employing women, right? It sounds kind of weird now, and even reading it, I was surprised because I'm like, nowadays we're just so used to.
Nowadays it's the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. Nowadays it's the other way around. Like when we see a male waiter, it's like that's strange, but yeah, that wasn't screens back then. It was just strictly men. And now he decided to hire women. I like his screening process though. I like that he said, okay, they have to be 18 to 30, and they had to follow this rigorous training program, and they had to ensure that they was respectful and they followed the rules. So I like that it was very rigorous, because that's what that's what tends to be a problem, when you're hiring people, um, and you're not careful at who you hire, they tend to give a bad name to the business. And so I like that he was very careful of not hiring anyone, but ensuring that the standard was kept. And so I like that. And they became very good. And what were they commonly known as?
The Harvey girls.
The
Harvey girls.
Harvey girls, yeah.
Harvey girls.
And they got paid a lot for that time. But how much was it? Anyone can remember?
1750 a month.
1750 a month, right? Wow. But
Yeah.
they got room and
Lord.
board, and they got to stay, and they was independent. And so I guess they thought that was, according to them, is very lucrative. So I don't know how much 1750 could have buy. Of course, money could have done more. Less money could have done more back in those days too. Um, and yeah, so that was it. That was how the American West got transformed through the food and hospitality, and also through the employment of the women. Okay, so that's that story. Very interesting history there. Okay, so let's begin with question number 12. So we're gonna write down the question and then write down the correct answer. So question number 12. It says, so 12 we have to say, for this one it says themselves. Is there a change that need to be there? So is it no change? Is it himself or herself? Is it their selves? Or is it oneself? Okay? Or is it no change?
No change.
Think no change?
No change.
Someone else said no change.
Or see them.
Or see their selves. What is it?
I think no change.
Think no change? Anyone else?
And no change.
Yeah, no change.
Their selves.
You say you think their selves?
It's either A or C to me.
It's either A or C.
I could be wrong.
Okay. Anyone else? I want to hear from Nancy. Go ahead, Nancy.
I would go with no change.
You go with no change. Why?
Because it's like a group, so I guess okay. I just give it no change was okay.
Go with no change. Anyone else going with no change?
C.
Yes,
Say
sir.
it again. All right.
C.
You say C? Okay, so let's look at it. Let's read it carefully. It says, so this is themselves is a part of a question. I mean, not a question, a part of a sentence. The sentence begins all the way here, right? It's a pretty long sentence. So this is one sentence. Sorry, one sentence here. So it says, just as travelers taking road trips today may need to take a break for food at rest along the highway, settlers traversing the American West by train in the mid-1800s often found themselves. You can't have anything else. It's okay. It's no change, okay?
Yes.
It's themselves.
Yup.
Was there any context to that question?
Yeah, because you see settlers, that helps us to know that they were supposed to be themselves. So the plural reflexive pronoun. So this is the plural reflexive pronoun. That corresponds with the plural noun, settlers. Okay, so that's why we have to pick.
I don't get it, but let's move on.
Okay, just know that it reads better than all the rest. Okay, so number 13, question 13. All right, which choice provides the most logical introduction to the sentence? And so we have here, so we are 13. So is it no change? Is it he had lived in New York, in New York and New Orleans? So, despite having worked for railroad companies, Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur, is it to capitalize the demand for good food? Um, having worked for rail companies, Fred Harvey decided to, or is it delete the underlying portion? Fred Harvey, an English.
D.
I think it's delete the underlying portion. Anyone? So they're trying to say which one would be a good, like before the underlying sentence is read, which one would be something good to put in front of it?
Yeah, delete the underlying portion.
What was C?
C. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, C is correct because remember we said that it was ironic that remember it said that he was working on the rail lines, and they said that food available on the rail lines was generally of a what? Terrible quality. So to capitalize on the demand for good food, he what? He decided to be the entrepreneur.
Open his own restaurant. Entrepreneur.
Yeah, and open his own restaurant. Okay, so that's the thing. Yeah, definitely a C. Yeah, so C is good. Because just before it is talking about the terrible quality of food. Okay, so number 14. This one, should we have a period here? Or should there be a colon, semicolon, or comma? Comma, definitely.
Comma.
Yeah. Comma. It's not supposed to be a period because it sounds weird. So it says Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur, period. Okay, if we started from despite, right? So despite having worked for railroad companies, Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur, period. Like, what are we saying about him? You know what I mean?
Like they should continue.
Yeah. He decided to.
There's too many stops in it.
Yeah, we're not supposed to have this period.
Yeah.
You didn't need to stop right there. Like, you should have.
Yeah, it's not good to stop. Even when I was reading it, it was like, that's weird. And so, yeah, so that's good. So now we want number 15. So number 15 says the following. So these Harvey houses, which constituted the
Mr. Petit.
Go ahead.
Can you scroll back up, please, and write the question for number 13?
Okay.
I have it.
Okay. All right. So it says these Harvey houses. This reminds me so much of Steve Harvey. That's what it is, because we're not talking about
Yes.
talking about Fred Harvey. But anyway, these Harvey houses, which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States, was unique for its high standards of service and quality. So should it be no change? Should it be were unique for their high standard of service? Was unique for their, or was it were unique for its?
C. B.
No, C.
B.
C.
Working or there.
What number is this? This is number 15.
15.
Yeah.
I go with
Would it
C
be
as well.
D?
Say it again.
B.
C.
C.
Ah,
D?
no, the answer is B. Okay.
Yes.
Oh!
The answer is B because, all right, we're dealing with Harvey houses. That's plural. Okay. So we
I
have
can do it based on United States, like how it look plural, but it ain't. So
no,
that's why
no,
for what?
no. It's D. It's were unique for there. Okay, that was unique.
I see why. Okay.
All right. Okay, so number 16. Which choice best maintains the tone established in the passage? Which choice best maintains the tone established in the passage? Is it so the food leaks? Sorry, so the food was leaks beyond that, beyond the sinister fare travelers were accustomed to receiving. So should we keep it as sinister fare? Should we keep it, or should we say the slurly fare, or is it the abysmal fare, or is it the icky fare?
G.
Since I don't know what surly means, I go with no change.
We go with no change.
I don't even understand how like the sinner is used in that sentence entirely.
Not sinner, not sinner, sinister.
Sinister, sorry. I don't know how standard. No. Yeah.
Okay, so
They mean sinister as menacing, right?
yeah, so I think sinister is is just too strong of a word. So
Yeah.
okay, so let me show you what sinister really means, right? So if we look at sinister, right, definition, like you see dark clouds, and it's not like given the impression that something is harmful or evil, right? It's happening or will happen. So that's like wicked, bad, corrupt. You know what I mean? I mean, it ain't that serious. The food ain't that serious. You know what I mean? It ain't like the food was. I mean,
But
it's
what
a,
about
Raw.
what about
you know.
surly?
So this one is too much of a over exaggeration. You know what I mean? So no change wouldn't work. Slurly is also not going to work too. It's just not. It's not the correct. It's not the best word for that. Cause look, okay, take a look at what slurly means, right? So we have slurly definition. So here, bad-tempered and unfriendly. So clearly that ain't gonna work. Are we good?
Good.
Okay. So now
And so
we only dealing with icky or abysmal. Now icky just doesn't fit with the tone of the passage. Like the tone of the passage isn't informal. Like icky means, you would say icky if you're talking with your friends, or you're by yourself. But icky is not formal, and the tone of this passage, it's sort of formal. It's sort of, sound like a speechish. So you wouldn't use icky. All right, icky just sounds too childish and too playful. So we have to use the word abysmal, and so let me just pull up the definition for that for you. abysmal. And that means extremely bad or appalling. Alright, so it's poor, inadequate, right? Substandard. It's better. It's a better word than the rest of them. Disgraceful. And we know that this is the word to use because they already said from the beginning that the food was of a what? Where we have it?
Bad quality.
Terrible quality.
Terrible.
So, yeah.
Abysmal.
So, abysmal. Okay, so that's that. So next up we have number 17. So number 17 says, the writer is considering deleting the previous sentence. Should the writer make this change? And he's trying, and the sentence that they're talking about is number 17, that his restaurants were immediately successful, but Harvey was not content to follow conventional business practices. So the writer is thinking about moving this sentence. Should the writer move it? Is it A? Yes, because it introduces information that is irrelevant at this point in the passage. Yes, because it does not logically follow from the previous passage. No, because it provides a logical introduction to the paragraph. No, because it provides a specific example in support of arguments made elsewhere in the passage.
C.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Should
C.
you move it?
Could be possibly D.
D?
I also pick D.
D? Someone else say D. Okay, so first of all, this would be, if there's any sentence in the paragraph that should not be moved, is this. This is a very important sentence. Because this is where the shift happens, right? This is critical information, right? That, hey, yeah, his restaurants were successful. That's one thing the reader want to know. Like, what? Okay, he started the restaurant. Okay, so what happened to the restaurants? Like, you know, because the passage really, entices the readers. Like, okay, there's a problem. The food is bad. Okay, good. So he made a restaurant to counteract this problem. Okay, then what? Then what happens? So this is very important, right? This is a very key sentence that, number one, yes, when he opened them, they were immediately successful. So the reader need to know that. The reader need to know, okay, what happened at the beginning? Was it successful? Okay, was it immediately successful, or did it take some time? So the sentence, the writer answers that directly. Okay, it was immediately successful. Okay, but he was not content with his success. And content means to be satisfied. He was not content to follow conventional business practices. That means he was not content or satisfied to follow tradition or to follow, what normally is done. So that's why he decided to hire women. This is a key passage because it is telling us what's happening inside the mind of this man, and what's going to be something very pivotal for the beginning of, the rest that they're going to say. So the correct answer definitely is C, because it provides a logical introduction to the passage, to the paragraph. Okay? So, C. It tells us exactly why he decided to even think about, hiring women in spite of, the times that he lived in. Okay, so next up we have 18. Alright, so here we have response to the advertisement was overwhelming, even tremendous. Should we change it? Or should we say response to the advertisement was overwhelming? Should it be C, overwhelming, even tremendous was the response to the advertisement? Or should it be there was an overwhelming, even tremendous response to the advertisement?
I think D might be a little better.
D make more sense to me.
D?
Sense. Okay. Here, with this one, I want you to think not just grammar, but think like what is necessary.
C.
See? Anyone else?
Mm,
Don't just think grammar, think what is necessary.
D?
D,
No change.
no change. Okay, so think about it, right? When you say response to the advertisement was overwhelming, even tremendous. Like, what is the difference between overwhelming and tremendous?
Overwhelming is like they couldn't handle it, and tremendous means it was like terrible.
No, tremendous is actually a good thing. Tremendous also means overwhelming. Like, they are synonyms to each other. Like, if you say it's
so B.
so if you say it's overwhelming, you don't have to say it's tremendous. Like, you don't have to. Okay? So this is redundant. Okay? So when we have overwhelming, even tremendous, that's redundant right there. You don't have to say that. So the correct answer would just be B. Like, response to the advertisement was overwhelming. That's it. Okay? So the answer is B. It is concise and free of redundancies. Okay. But honestly, if I was writing it, I probably would write it like this still. Because I like, doing this. But it's not necessary. It's redundant. And it's not concise. It's not short and to the point. Alright. Next up, number 19. Should it be no change? Should it be but also, let me just read it out. Let's read it first. Not only were such regulations meant to ensure efficiency of the business and the safety of the workers, but also helped to raise people's generally low opinion of the restaurant industry. So is it but also helping? Is it also helping? Or is it but they also helped?
D.
I think it's
D.
Anyone else? You're quiet tonight. I guess they're on their Valentine's Day honeymoon or something.
D.
Well, like, I get everything wrong, so
You ain't getting anything wrong,
that's
too.
disturbing.
All right.
Well, the grandmaster's out tonight.
It's D. Okay.
Yeah, I know when to sit small, Mr. Petit.
You know when this is ball. Okay. So you stand tall in the sciences. I know. All right.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. The answer is D though, but they also helped. Okay. They also help, and they are referring to the regulations. Okay. The regulations that he put in place. I like that. All right, number 20. What is 20 in Spanish?
Vente.
Vente.
Diente. Vente.
Vente, okay.
D.
Okay. All right, next up is which choice most logically follows the previous sentence? So the previous sentence says, in return for the service work, the position paid quite well for the time. $17.50 a month, plus tips, meals, room, and board, laundry service, and travel expenses. So should the next sentence be, so which choice logically follows the previous sentence? So should the next choice be, the growth of Harvey's business coincided with the expansion of the Santa Fe Railway, and which served large sections of the American West? Should it be, Harvey would end up opening dozens of restaurants and dining cars, plus 15 hotels, and over his lucrative career? Should it be, these benefits enabled the Harvey girls to save money and build new and exciting lives for themselves in the so-called Wild West? Or should it be, the compensation was considered it was considered excellent at the time, though it may not seem like much money by today's standards? Which one would be?
B.
B?
C.
Are you going with C?
You going with C? Okay. Okay.
I was
I'm
saying
knocking in my wrong answers tonight.
D.
All right, someone go with C. All right, so notice here that they're talking about the Harvey girls and what they got paid, all right, and their benefits and stuff like that. So if we go ahead to talk about Harvey's business that coincided with expansion of Santa Railway, that wouldn't make no sense, because we're talking about, you know, the Harvey girls here and what they got and how they benefited. If we go on to talk about more about Harvey and how he ended up opening dozens of restaurants, that don't make no sense. That's probably one of the most easiest questions they give us, because they don't usually be that straightforward. It's all the C or D. It's all the C or D, right? And I could be honest, it's a hard pick. It's a very hard pick. But we'll have to go with C, because C talks about what the money that they got enabled them to do. Okay, and so it would definitely be C. But I personally would like, I think D is also relevant too, because D, that's a natural question, like 1750, like what could that be? You know what I mean? So I think that D is also good, because D also answers the unanswered question that the reader might have in their mind. So I felt that D was also right, but the correct answer is C. All right.
But the thing was about the benefits of the money.
The Harvey girls.
What would they get?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You do make sense, but
yeah. All right.
So.
All right. So this can't be I thought it's the last one. We finishing on time tonight? What is this? We never finish.
This was the easiest one we ever do.
Yeah.
We usually pick up in the passage.
Yeah, okay. That means we could do one more. Let me see.
You know that ain't gonna happen.
Alright. Okay, so living independently and demonstrating an intense work ethic, the Harvey girls became known as a transformative force in the American West. Should it be no change? Should it be ethic with a colon? Should it be ethic with a comma? Or should it be ethic with just a comma?
C.
Someone said C. This is number what? 21? Someone said C. Anyone else?
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one.
I think I can go with no change.
You go with no change? Okay. Anyone else?
I think go with no change also.
No change? Okay. See, The problem with that, with those answers is that, look, let's read this. I'm gonna underline it. Living independently and demonstrating an intense work ethic. Is that a sentence?
No. No, so
Can it stand alone?
tell us.
No, so.
No. So it's a dependent clause, right?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because it depends on something. So we cannot put a semicolon there. Okay, we have to put a comma. Okay, so
I was right. Yes.
all right. And sadly, number 22.
So when do you use that thing half colon?
The what? This?
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes,
when the thing that is previous to it could stand alone. You understand what I mean? Like if it could stand alone and it could read well as a sentence on its own, but you want to connect another thing to it, then you could use a semicolon. But the problem is that living independently and demonstrating intense work ethic can't stand alone as a sentence. So we can't put that semicolon there. Okay, number 22. The writer is considering revising the underlying portion of the sentence to read, where's the underline? So west. So I'm 22, west. Okay, so the Harvey Girls became known as a transformative force in the American West. But that the author, I don't know why I said she. I just feel like the sense that a woman probably wrote this. A man could have wrote it too. But I guess my subconscious naturally referred it to a woman. Anyway, the number 22. The writer is considering revising the underlying portion of the sentence to read the American West, inspiring books, documentaries, and even a musical. Should the writer add this information here? So should the writer say that the Harvey Girls became known as a transformative force in the American West, comma, inspiring books, documentaries, and even a musical. So should she include it? So is it A? Yes, because it provides examples of Harvey Girls' influence. Is it yes, because it serves as a transitional point in the paragraph? Is it no, because it should be placed earlier in the passage? Or is it D? No, because it contradicts the main claim of the passage.
Can you go to the sentence?
Remember, the sentence says that the Harvey Girls became known as a transformative force in the American West. So, should the writer include it? That they inspired books, documentaries, and even musicals?
Yes, because
Yes, because it examples.
Yes, very good. Because it provides examples of their influence. Very good. Wow. It's 8:53 and we're done. Okay, so that means
That's good.
say that's good. All right. So that means we have so that means I'll let class out early tonight. So have a wonderful night. Please send in the notes. That's the math notes and also the English notes. The English notes consist of the question and the answer only. Okay, so have a wonderful night for those who stayed all the way to the end. And I'll see you on tomorrow. God spares life.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Good night.
Good night.
Mr. I have a question, please.
Go ahead.
Buenos noches.
Pardon? Oh yeah. Good
Buenos
night.
noches.
Good night. Okay, so let me end this recording. Okay, stop.